As the world moves in its transition between fossil fuels and renewable energy technologies, new tech is being discovered all the time to help us get there. One such company to power that transition is Gelion. It's developed the next generation of safe stationary storage technology to maximize reliable energy storage solutions for these standalone power systems. It's been a busy month for Gelion, the company we're talking now to, and the chief executive is John Wood, joining us on the line now from Sydney. John, welcome. You're coming up to your first anniversary as chief executive of the business. Before we take a look at how your first year has been, just explain more about the technologies you're using and what Gelion is doing.
Yeah, Jeremy, look, Gelion is a battery innovation company. We are aiming to deliver success for our shareholders by attaining leadership in two particular areas of technology, and that is lithium sulphur technology and zinc hybrid technologies.
Before we go into more detail about that, as I said, you've now been there almost a year. What did you bring to this? Because we spoke to Gelion over a year ago, and we were then talking about the early developments that have been going on. What have you been doing in that first year of your appointment, and what skill set did you bring to enable the company to move on?
Yeah, Jeremy, I'm a specialist in commercializing innovation successfully globally. So I've been a CEO 4 times, and on 4 occasions, the technology that I've represented has indeed achieved its success internationally. As well as the commercializing the technology, the companies that I've built for the shareholders, I've done a specialization in building major relationships, strategic relationships, and outcomes in those companies. In each case, there's been major partnerships that have been formed for the companies, and in some cases, major acquisitions of the companies by strategic investors.
Okay, so taking that and taking these new technologies, what are the use cases for zinc and sulphur, lithium sulphur, being developed by the group? And of course, then we've also got to look at what the target markets are and what you're working towards in terms of trying to achieve some sort of commercialization.
Yeah, I'll start with the lithium sulphur first, Jeremy. Lithium sulphur is a technology that we see being the next generation of lithium ion technology, going beyond lithium ion. Basically, if you think about it today, batteries for transportation are frankly heavy. We need to improve safety and we need to reduce cost. Sulphur is one of the few materials used in the cathode that can achieve all 3 aims. Now, that's really important. First of all, it enables electric aviation. So electric aviation, the higher gravimetric energy density of lithium sulphur can be a great contributor. But then you can look at vehicular transportation. Now, if you can make a battery that's safer and you make a battery that is lower cost, but now think about when you make it lighter as well, because you're not only saving cost through the battery, but you're saving cost in the wheels, you're saving cost through the suspension and every other part of the car by reducing that weight. So we see a very exciting future for lithium sulphur in electric transportation. Now, moving across to our zinc technologies, as well as the lithium ion industry, there's another great industry out there as well. That's the lead acid industry. Now, these products are typically more suitable for stationary energy storage. And that's where we see our zinc technologies going. In particular, we see them being an extension of that industry. We are aiming at a product that we can use at high temperatures in remote power systems without air conditioning. Attaining that goal just makes energy storage so much better.
And what about the commercialization aspect of this? What are you doing in order to work towards this end game, if you like, and obviously, ultimately, rewarding investors along the way?
Totally. Mate, I've been in batteries now for 15 years. And batteries are a very important part of the energy transition. In fact, they're one of the fastest growing markets on the planet. There'll be a market of about $500 million by 2030. Now, what do you need to do to have successful commercialization in the battery industry? First, you've got to be a leader, and then you've got to know how to fit into the supply chain for your commercialization. So in both sides of the business, on the zinc side and on the lithium side, lithium sulfur side, what I'm doing is taking a capital light approach to commercialization. So first, I'm going to establish the company as a leader in the technologies. Second, I'm working with the major supply chain participants to integrate our technologies into the supply chain. Then the revenue that we'll be taking first by supplying high-performance cells. So we will supply to the end customers high-performance cells, and we're going to continue to surf that high-performance edge. But as we scale, the industry is so huge that you've got to fit the supply chain. And the best fit for us into the supply chain as we scale larger into the markets is to start to supply high-value materials. And so we're working already on that vector, working with the process companies towards looking at not only having our technologies, but having our technologies being able to produce in the large factories around the world, and working towards a business model that'll see us take revenue from those materials.
So now it's been a fairly busy month, and you've been working on a fundraise, an acquisition, and also a joint development agreement. Explain more about what you're doing with these and how they all work together to help the company along.
Jeremy, it's been a freaking huge month. I mean, everything sort of came together in this month, but it's taken a year's work to get all those pieces to happen. So you saw the acquisition and the raise, and then we've just announced the wonderful JDA, Joint Development Agreement with Iron Blocks. This all started though when I joined. When I sat down with Thomas and his team here and joined the company, I recognized that they'd made a remarkable breakthrough in the lithium sulphur area, in particular around how to use electrolytes that allowed us to use multiple anode technologies. That was really important. But what became important to that was we recognized that Johnson Matthey was selling an IP portfolio, 65 patent families, controlling very important control positions inside of the lithium sulfur industry. And inside that patent family was the area that we thought was most important. So we went and picked that up. Now, that patent family had come from a company called Oxis. And Oxis hit a roadblock in the middle of COVID. That's how Johnson Matthey got hold of the IP. And Oxis had been supported by a wonderful institution, the Faraday Institution in the UK. Now, that's the UK's government's initiative to have leadership in battery technology, £500 million invested into having leadership in the UK. Now, Faraday continued to support the exercise and provided funding into the major research institutions in the UK. And at that time, a young man, Adrian Amigues, he had been an employee of Oxis, in fact, the head of IP, and he went on and formed a company called Oxford. That's the company that we acquired. Adrian had put in place licenses with the university. He continued to develop the technology and formed a remarkable team. So we welcomed that team in to join us in July. We're reuniting the team with the IP, and we're taking the leadership in the lithium sulfur technology and the sulfur cathode. Now, the JDA that we've just done is the icing on the cake. Now, we're going to be making the world's best sulfur cathodes. But what you've got to make is a battery. And our partner, Iron Blocks, Sujit from Iron Blocks, they have leadership in the most important area that we want to go, the fastest path for us to get to commercialization and to get to market. And we see that as being what is called a SiOx, a silicon oxide anode technology, pre-lithiated. So that's where Sujit and Iron Blocks comes in with their partnerships, particularly with Applied Material, which is one of the major enterprises around the world for lithium metal and pre-lithiation technology.
Yeah, and how is all this likely to develop in terms of headlines through into 2024? Where do you see the new headlines coming through from, which might drive interest in the stock?
We're not slowing down, man. We got a lot of momentum through 2023. We want to make a battery that is transformational in industry. So we want high energy density, high gravimetric energy density. We want safety, and we want low cost. So we'll be working it. We've got a great team, a phenomenal team inside Gelion that's formed. We'll be working that with the team from Iron Blocks, and together progressing, even as inside Gelion, we're also progressing our zinc technologies towards the commercialization path we have in place for that. So 2024, you've seen a lot of progress from Gelion in the last few months of 2023 as I picked up momentum. You'll see that continuing into 2024 and sending major signals throughout the industry.
Yeah. Look, I'm talking to a lot of chief executives about what's going on at the moment. Let's bring up a share price chart. I mean, you're not alone in the fact that there's been a lot of value destruction because small caps just aren't on the radar for a lot of people at the moment. But what this is doing is providing tremendous opportunities, I think, in the future for people looking for opportunities to buy into companies that have a plan, that have a roadmap, which, as you just described for July, would seem to be firmly in place. What do you say to investors with the stock, what is now worth, what, £27 million, I think, market cap you've got here? Just talk to us a bit more about the biggest opportunities for the group and where the largest growth drivers are for the future. And as chief executive, I guess, really, and it's all about confidence in the company, what do you say to investors about where we are and what the prospects are for the business?
Jeremy, sometimes there's a difference between price and value. So I don't see value destruction here. In fact, Gelion listed just at the end of 2021. It spiked a bit and the price has gone down from there. But I inherited a solid base when I started. I'm going to tell you that there's been a tremendous amount of value that's been created in the last 12 months. So when I look at Gelion and I look at the future, I guess we've got a deviation between price and value. As you said, that shouts opportunity. Now, we've just done a raise. And in that raise, I'm very grateful to all of the shareholders that participated and backed us in Gelion. But particularly, I want to draw attention to the fact that the board picked up 10% of that raise. And that 10% was led by the founder, the chairman, and your CEO. So I guess I could say that we're showing the way in our assessment of the opportunity shouting through in that graph.
Yeah. Okay. Look, wish you luck and keep in touch. It'd be interesting to see how the story develops in 2024. John, thanks for your time.
Absolutely.
That's John Wood. He's the chief executive of the safe stationary storage company, Gelion.